And this was for the AEW World Championship. We got a brand new champion crown. Swerve Strickland defeated Samoa Joe. And the people were invested. The people were excited. I don't think I can describe to you how it felt to watch this match coming off of everything we had just gone through. There was like a different energy in the air of people basically being like, dude, we're still getting more. We're not done. And we're actually excited about what we're going to be seeing next. That was sort of the atmosphere in the building. But damn, an incredible matchup here to crown a new champion, and not just a new champion. Like the fact that Swerve Strickland is the first ever Black AEW World Champion, Reg. That's what all the questions centered around in the presser. What'd you think of this?
You know, earlier I was talking about how jealous I was because you got to witness Bryan Danielson and Will Ospreay, but I'm way more jealous. And the real reason that I was sad that I was not in St. Louis is because of this moment. Like, from the entrance with the Black Panther inspired thing, Nana comes and puts the Jimmy Rave robe on him. Like, from that point, I was like, I can't not believe I'm watching this on TV and not in there screaming my eyes out for this. But I thought it was a perfect execution, Denise. Like, just like you said, like the crowd has been through a roller coaster of emotions, but there still felt like the energy still felt good going into the match. I was like, okay, the crowd's not completely dead. Like, they're excited for this. And from the entrance and Swerve just looked like a gazillion dollars. Like, the gear was awesome. Samoa Joe comes down and just is badass, a villain, ready to kill. Like I said, played the perfect position in this. The match was great for what they had. Not a lot of time. They didn't need to tell this super long story. Samoa Joe hasn't been in super long matches, so it made sense that this one didn't go that long. Power slam onto the concrete was like, careful. Again, you guys, like, be careful out there. I thought there was a lot of moments of Swerve kind of showing his heart, coming in peril. Samoa Joe was dominant for a lot of it, showing this is the champion that I've been, and this is the champion that I could continue to be if I want to be. But the crowd was so in the Swerve. From the moment that Phil was like, I just got into the show and they're all ready for Swerve. Like, soon as he stepped into the building, he was telling me that the fans are chanting for Swerve. Soon as they started the pre-show, Swerve, Swerve, Swerve. The crowd was here for this moment, and I think that made it even better. A lot of people that have helped Swerve get to the position that he is in now were in attendance, and he did it, Denise. Like, I could talk for 500 hours on the importance of all of this. The first Black AEW World Champion, where he came from, what he'd been. I think I've told people that I'm in the podcasting thing. I write about pro wrestling because of him. He played a part in all of this, like just being him. And so for him to get to there and to get to where he is now and to know what went on behind the scenes with this is just like, I could cry on this podcast, Denise. Like, it's a lot. Like, if it was just like some Black guy, like if Hobbs did it, it would be the same. Like, I'd be like, there'd be a lot going on. But to know like the connections that this have and everything surrounding it, and we were there before he debuted, it's like, it's a super important moment. And I'm so happy for Swerve, and I'm so happy for Will Washington, my friend. It's an amazing moment. An amazing moment. It's a lot. I'm happy.
I feel your happiness, Reg. I was like, I think Reg is gonna cry.
I know. I'm like, dude, I gotta get out of this.
Should I jump in? Like,
I don't want this. I don't want this. Help.
I know. I sensed it. I was like, oh my God, Reg is gonna cry, and I know he doesn't want to cry on the air.
Denise, it's a lot, man. Like,
I know.
People think they're just like, oh, why do they want this? Black, blah blah blah. Like, this doesn't happen a lot. Like, it feels like it happens like Kofi and Big E and like The Rock and all this stuff. It like feels like recent, but this is a long time coming. I watched wrestling for 30 years and that shit didn't happen. Like, I didn't have representation. I didn't have fools that like Swerve that look just like me, that are rappers, that act just like, I didn't have this. And so it's it feels amazing that we got here. I don't want it to be first anymore. I want it to be like, this is the 50th Black World Champion. Like, I'm happy that we're starting here, but there's still a lot of progress that needs to be made. It is 2024, and we're saying the first. I don't want to say the first anymore. I want it to just be the norm.
Right. And I think the cool thing about this in particular is that no one is sitting here going, oh, they're just giving it to Swerve just to give it to him, right? Just so that they can say, oh, we have a Black champion. No, like he went out there and showed why, like won the crowd over. Like Tony Khan himself spoke about this, Reg, when they asked him, like, at what moment did you see Swerve as a potential champion? And he had mentioned he'd always been impressed, right? Of course, he was always impressed by Swerve. But it was that Hangman Page feud that saw him take that leap into championship material. And it's so crazy because, like, when you think back to those, what was it, 3 matches? Let's count at this point. 3 matches that we saw with Hangman.
3 matches.
Was it 4?
Yeah.
No, it was 3, right? It was 3 matches. Yeah. The 3 matches that we saw with Swerve and Hangman, those were all top-notch stuff. Tony Khan even said it himself that was one of the best feuds in AEW history. And keep in mind, we've had some real big ones, but this one is one of the biggest. And coming off of that match that we saw, that third one with Swerve and Hangman, the freaking death match that we saw, everybody was, claiming that was the best AEW match. Even Tony Khan said it himself during that. And so you're coming off of a best of a lot of stuff. And at that point, you got to turn around and you got to go, well, this person's producing a lot of this best of stuff. So you clearly got to run with that and do something. And the crowd sensed it. Everyone sensed it. Everyone knew the time was now, and the time came, and they actually executed on it. And now people are sitting here going, oh shit, we can't see this. We can't wait to see what? Swerve and Will Ospreay, Swerve and Bryan Danielson, Swerve and this person. Those are the 2 big names.
Okada.
Right, exactly. Like, those are the names that are being mentioned. And so that makes it feel like this wasn't just let's just put it on someone just so that we can check off a box. No, let's put it on someone who worked for it, because that at the end of the day is what's going to move and make change. You know what I'm saying?
Totally. Yeah, exactly. It wasn't a token thing. It's like Swerve earned this. Like, we talked many times in our pod, Denise, of like, oh, they're getting to a point like he can't even be heel anymore. He has to be babyface, so because the crowd is so behind him. And I thought with every victory, with every match, he just built it more. And it felt like the right time right now. I'm happy that they executed it when they did. First show, dynasty. They're building to a dynasty of this show is what Tony Khan's talking about. Felt really important to hear.
Right. And there was also, you mentioned somebody else's name who we know very well on this podcast. Now, obviously, we're not going to get into all of the details and everything, but I do want to say one thing. Will should be effing fucking proud. And I literally, anytime I fucking tell him all the time, you should be proud as all hell. He's doing great fucking work.
It's amazing. So happy for him.
Great fucking work.
Yeah.